For more than 30 years, the world followed one simple rule: trade with everyone, depend on no one too much, and prosperity will follow. It was called globalization. It promised cheap goods, growing economies, and peace through cooperation. But today, that system is quietly falling apart. Ports are closing, supply chains are breaking, countries are no longer trading for efficiency, they're preparing for conflict. This is the end of globalization, and it didn't collapse with a crash, it's disappearing in silence. After the Cold War, something unprecedented happened. Former enemies began trading with each other. Factories moved across borders, ships crossed oceans nonstop. For the first time in history, the global economy became deeply interconnected. A phone designed in California was built in China, using minerals from Africa, shipped through Asia, and sold worldwide. And it worked. Prices dropped. Corporate profits soared. Millions were lifted out of poverty. Globalization wasn't just an economic system, it became a belief. The belief that trade would prevent war, that cooperation would replace confrontation, that countries tied together economically would never turn on each other. For a while, it looked true. The system didn't break all at once. It cracked slowly, then suddenly, in 2020, the world shut down. Factories stopped. Ships were stranded. Essential goods vanished overnight. Countries realized something uncomfortable. They didn't control what they depended on. Medical supplies, semiconductors, energy, food. Entire nations were relying on distant factories they couldn't protect. And when panic hit, cooperation disappeared. Countries hoarded supplies, borders closed, exports were restricted. The lesson was brutal and clear. Dependence is weakness. After the pandemic, globalization didn't recover. It changed. Trade stopped being neutral. Sanctions replaced negotiations. Tariffs replaced trust. Supply chains became strategic assets. The US and China began pulling apart, not slowly, but deliberately. Technology bans, chip restrictions, investment barriers. Europe learned the danger of energy dependence. Asia prepared for shipping choke points. Resource-rich nations realized leverage was power. Trade was no longer about efficiency. It was about control. And once trade becomes a weapon, cooperation becomes a risk. Countries didn't just turn away from each other, they turned inward. Governments began reshoring factories, subsidizing national industries, protecting strategic sectors. New words entered the global vocabulary: friendshoring, nearshoring, decoupling. Trust only your allies, build close, prepare for disruption. Global supply chains fractured into regional blocs, not one world economy, but many smaller, competing ones. Less efficient, more expensive, but easier to control. Globalization promised speed. This new system prioritizes security. The result isn't stability, it's suspicion. Every port is a vulnerability. Every cable is a target. Every dependency is a liability. Countries now ask different questions, not who can make this cheapest, but who can't cut us off. The world didn't become safer, it became cautious, fragmented, paranoid. And history tells us something important. When trade declines, tensions rise. Not because countries want conflict, but because they stop trusting each other. You won't hear this announced. There won't be a headline saying globalization is over. You'll feel it instead. Higher prices, fewer choices, slower growth, more volatility. Products take longer to arrive. Innovation slows, economic shocks spread faster, acts not slower. This isn't a collapse, it's a transformation. From cooperation to competition, from openness to control. And once that shift happens, it's very hard to reverse. Globalization didn't fail because people rejected it. It failed because countries stopped trusting it. The world didn't break apart overnight. It pulled away, slowly, carefully, deliberately. And by the time most people realize what's changed, the system that shaped their entire lives will already be gone. The question isn't whether globalization will return. The question is, was it ever as stable as we believed?